Just when you thought it was safe to log back onto YouTube, here I am again. Good morning, lovely friends. Welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Rainbow Ange. I am recording another vlog today. I know Vlogtober is only just over and you thought you were well rid of me, but I'm off to Yarnporium today. So it's 7:30 in the morning, which is earlier than I usually get up, hence the crazy hair and the tired eyes. Not a morning person, and I know 7:30's not even that early, so I'm not expecting you to feel sorry for me. I am on a train in about an hour's time, off down to London, so I thought I would try and vlog my day, see how far I get. You may never see this if there is not enough footage. Have to excuse the massive pile of logs behind me. We had a delivery for our fire yesterday, so yeah, it's a bit crazy in here, but it smells gorgeous. I am taking 2 projects with me to work on today. I know that's crazy for just a day, but you know me by now. I am taking the Beagle jumper, which is the jumper that I'm working on for James for Christmas, knit from the Rowan felted tweed Aran. I'm working on the front of the jumper, so here's my progress so far, and it's not that big, so I'm hoping to work on this on both of the journeys. But it occurred to me that the trains might be busy, especially on the way back. The train that I'm on is the first sort of cheap train back home from London, so it can be a bit chaotic. So I thought if it is a bit of a squash on the train, I would also bring a sock project with me, because obviously I can work on that in, even though this doesn't take up a massive amount of space, it is a little bit more awkward to work on elbow wise if someone is next to me, whereas a sock I can sort of squirrel away in a corner and still work on it. So I'm also taking my West Yorkshire Spinners Fairy Lights sock, which is a sock for one of my customers. I did contemplate just doing selfish knitting today, but I thought as I would usually be in the shop and working today, if I was going to work on a sock, I'd work on a work sock, if that makes sense. So yeah, they are the knitting projects. As I mentioned in one of my Vlogtober videos, my day at Yarnporium is not going to be exactly as I originally planned. I was hoping to take a workshop this afternoon, but the tutor is unwell, so it's been cancelled. So I'm basically just there to have a wander around the marketplace. I wasn't able to cancel my train ticket. If I could have cancelled my train ticket, I probably just would have cancelled the whole day. But yeah, I'm not planning on buying too much. I've got a couple of ideas in mind for things that I might pick up, but I've got myself a strict budget, so I'm taking some cash with me and I'm not spending any more than I have in my purse. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm not wearing a massive amount of knitwear because I'm thinking I'll probably be going from cold places to warm places, and travelling on the underground will be really hot no matter what time of year it is. So I'm just wearing my Selkie shawl today, which is a pattern by B. Mandarin's Melody Hoffman. I think she might be at Yarnporium, so I thought it would be nice to wear a garment designed by someone who I think might be there. I knit my Selkie a little while ago. The natural colour is a Wensleydale from a producer who sadly doesn't produce anymore. I think she moved out of the country or something like that. And the yellow is Jameson's yarn, either the Spindrift or the 2-ply jumper weight. Can't remember exactly which, but yeah, it's just a lovely squishy garter shawl with a beautiful bit of lace detail around the bottom. made it to Paddington, so it's now just a short skip on the Underground over to Westminster. My first lap of Yarnporium, and I've come outside for a little bit of sunshine. It's a glorious day here in London today. As you can see, I have Westminster Abbey just behind me. I am chatting to myself in the middle of a busy square, so yeah, I probably look like a loon, but most people are selfieing or doing something with their phones, so I don't think I am entirely crazy. It is really nice little show, the Yarnporium. There's plenty of space in there at the moment. The halls are quite roomy. I think a lot of people will be heading tomorrow though, so I can't imagine what it might be like tomorrow. I managed to purchase a couple of things. I have bought a spindle and some fibre, which I wasn't expecting to get, and I have also bought a really lovely little silver button from a lovely lady who is based in Pembrokeshire. I'll show you my purchases later on in the video. I'm not about to unpack them in the middle of this craziness. But I'm just enjoying the sunshine and having a little break. It's gorgeously warm here today, so it would be a shame not to. We're given these little wristbands as you go in, so I am able to go in and out all day, which is nice, so I think I will take advantage of that. I've seen a couple of things that I'm interested in getting, but I just want to be a little bit mindful and make some planned purchases rather than just dive in and buy whatever without a plan. So yeah, I'm trying to be reasonably considered, but we'll see how long my willpower lasts when I go back in. It is about 4 o'clock. I am all Yarnporiumed out. I fell down hard at a lovely indie dyer called Mahudli. I think that's maybe how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. I bought a sweater quantity of fingering weight yarn. Wasn't going to. Well, that's a lie. I kind of had a thought that if I saw something that would be suitable for knitting a pavement sweater in a colour that I loved, then I would go for it. So I managed to find something. But yeah, I was getting a bit hot and tired at Yarnporium, so I have hopped on the train. I may be hanging out in Camden Passage at the moment, having a bit of a drink and some cake. So I'm sure some of you can guess where I should be heading, as if I haven't bought enough yarn today. Yeah. Can you see me? I don't think you can you? It's 10:15 and I am just walking from the train station to my house. The train journey home was chaos. There were people standing all the way from London to Newport. Nuts. I've had such a fun day. I'm in complete darkness now because I've moved out of the light of a street light. So I'm going to end my recording for today, but I'll definitely come back in the morning and show off my purchases to round off this vlog. Hope you have enjoyed visiting Yarnporium with me. Hey! As you can tell, I am at home in my craft room. It is Saturday morning. I'm having the whole weekend off work this weekend, which is awesome. So I'm back to show you the things that I purchased at Yarnporium and Loop yesterday. There's quite a lot. So if you're not interested in this sort of thing, then feel free to skip. And I hope you enjoyed the first part of the video, where I was vlogging from yesterday's adventures. I'm going to try not to spend too long going through this stuff, but we'll see. I'm going to try and do it in order of my purchases. I did a first pass around the market and I try not to buy anything on first pass, but I couldn't resist one. Actually, I did purchase two things. Sorry. As you can tell, Newt's here. Yes, I ended up purchasing two things, which was a little bit naughty, but they're both lovely, no regrets. So the first thing I purchased was from Lynn Roberts Design, and you can find her at www.lynn-roberts-design.com, and she makes lots of silver things. She has some beautiful shawl pins and needles and yeah, all sorts on her stand. I just came away with one little silver button, and this one was imprinted with slate. She's based in Pembrokeshire, so I couldn't resist with the Welsh connection. It's probably not going to show up super well on my camera, but there's some gorgeous texture on this button, and I just thought it would make a nice addition to a hat or something like that. So yeah, that was my first purchase of the day. Not huge amounts to say about that one, except that it is beautiful. My second purchase on the day was from the Spinners Stash, and this is their card, and you can find the Spinners Stash at thespinnerstash.com. And Vanessa had some beautiful spindles on her stand, and I wasn't intending to buy any spinning related stuff at all, but I just couldn't resist, and I purchased something that's a little bit different from my usual. I have only spun on top whorl spindles so far, and this is a bottom whorl, but this is absolutely glorious. This is not going to show up to its true potential either, but it's there you go, you can see how glittery and sparkly it is, and it has got all of these sort of cogs and wheels and sequins in these gorgeous blues and purples. So yeah, that one had to come home with me. And for a couple of pounds extra, you could purchase this little kit. So basically you pick your spindle and you get some fibre. So I shall definitely use this fibre to test out my spindle. I was able to have a little go on one of her other bottom whorl spindles. She does sell top whorl spindles as well, and yeah, the one that I practice on spun beautifully, and it wasn't a huge amount of difference to the top whorls that I'm used to, so hopefully I should get on okay with that. So now for the rest of my purchases. I'm trying to think in what order. Doesn't really matter, does it? I purchased a little pin. I'm sure if you are on social media you will have seen the Sinister Catagan pattern, and on, I'm not sure how you pronounce this, but I'm going to say Katin Beeg, and if that is wrong then I apologise, but there is the card. And I purchased this little pin which I couldn't resist, with the Sinister Cats on, and it says "feck off, I'm counting," which just amused me, so that will go onto one of my bags. I also came away with a small purchase from TJ Frog, who are based in the Isle of Skye, and as I have done a little bit of Dorset button making, I purchased a Dorset button. She's calling this a brooch kit. It's quite a big button. Like, if I show you the size of the ring, I've actually got my other Dorset button that I made. So look, in comparison to that, this is huge. But I thought, as she well says, you can use it as a brooch. But I thought it might also be nice as a necklace, or maybe even a shawl pin, if I could attach some sort of pin to it. But I just love the colours, and there's some beautiful beadwork to do in this one as well. So I thought that would be a little bit of a different technique to try with the Dorset button technique. I purchased some stitch markers from Trinkles.com is the website, and I couldn't resist these. They're some beautiful wooden little sweater stitch markers, so I think I might split this set up and actually send a few of these out as gifts to people as well. So yeah, they were really fun. She had some socks as well, which was really tempting, but I went with the sweaters because I thought they were really cute. I also purchased a skein from Coop Knits, who is Rachel Coopy, and I picked up one skein of her Socks Yeah yarn in this gorgeous rusty orange. And I don't know if you remember, if you've watched my last video, I was showing you the copy of the Knitter magazine that I purchased last week, and they've had this really fun pattern for these foxy socks. So I thought this yarn would make some perfect foxy socks. I've only purchased one skein, and these are 50-gram skeins. I might put in some contrasting heels and toes just to make sure that I definitely have enough of this yarn to complete that project. So yeah, that should be really fun, and it was nice to find the perfect colour for those socks. I also purchased a copy of Making magazine, and I purchased this from a Yarn Story, who are a lovely shop based in Bath. If you ever get a chance to visit, I can highly recommend that shop. I used to go there relatively frequently when I lived in Wiltshire. And this is the issue number 1, Flora. So this one has been out for quite some time. These magazines are not cheap, but I really wanted to get my hands on a copy, and I know that number 1 is fairly difficult to get hold of. I also ended up buying another copy from Loop of a different issue, but that will be coming up later. But I love lots of the projects in this, and it has the lovely branches and buds pullover, which was everywhere a little while ago. And I particularly adore this cardigan, which is called Marigold. Sort of a cropped cardigan with a shawl collar and 3/4 length sleeves. And I also, they've got some lovely sewing projects and things in these magazines as well. I also really loved this little doll that was in this magazine. I'm just trying to flick through and find it. So it's the Flora Fairy Doll by Hilary Lang. And there she is. I thought she was absolutely adorable, and I've been fancying a little bit of hand stitching recently, so I thought that maybe I would have a go at that little doll. I thought it'd be a fun little project. 2 more purchases left from Yarnporium. The next one was a bit of a frivolous, oh well, they're all frivolous purchases, aren't they? But this one, I wasn't really intending on buying any yarns for shawls or anything like that, but I was chatting with Lola, who is Third Volt Yarns. That's her little tag. And she was just so lovely, and she was so patient with me, because I was going to buy a single skein of sock yarn from her, but then I was umming and ahhing over colours, and in the end I decided to get something that I could probably make a shawl with. So I have got 150 gram skein of her yarn on her companion shawl base, which is 100% superwash merino, and this is the Dragon Scales colourway. It's a really beautiful complex colour of greys, blues and purples. And on her stand she also had some 50 gram skeins of some semi-solid colours, so I picked up this lovely glorious purple to go with that. So I think that will make a gorgeous shawl at some point, although I do not know what pattern I'm going to use. I only have 50 grams of this contrasting colour, so yeah, I'll have to think, although I do have quite a lot of this, so I'll have to think on what I can come up with for these beautiful yarns. If you have any ideas, then feel free to pop them in the box below. And I thought I was done, and then I went into the Indie Maker Hall. So they had 2 main halls with a lot of the vendors in, and then they had a third little room, which I think was called Indie Maker Spotlight. And I was wandering around there, and I could have purchased quite a few things, and in fact there's one thing that I regret not purchasing, but I'm not going to talk about that because I didn't buy it. But I fell down hard at a lovely stall, and I'm probably going to butcher the name. I'm not entirely sure how it's pronounced. I'm just going to see. Yeah, there's a card in the bag. Mahoodley, I'm going to say. It's a website, mahoodley.com, and an Etsy shop and an Instagram and all that lovely stuff. And I purchased a sweater quantity of fingering weight yarn. Now, I had in mind that if I saw a colourway that I liked, then I would treat myself to a sweater quantity of fingering weight. I'm basing my calculations for this on the Pavement Sweater, which is, again, you've probably seen it if you're on social media, just a really simple, quite a long sweater. And yeah, lots of people have made this pattern, so I based my quantity requirements for my size on that sweater, and hopefully that will give me a bit of flexibility if I decide to do you know, another fingering weight sweater pattern. But I purchased this absolutely beautiful 100% Superwash Blue Face Leicester yarn from Mahudley, and this colourway, I just love it. It's called John Hammond, which I think might be a Jurassic Park reference, but I should have asked, but I forgot. And look at it, it's this gorgeous chartreusey dirty green. And basically yeah, it's kind of going a bit crazy against my orange wall, but that's fairly accurate. So yeah, I purchased everything that she had left of that colourway. But that wasn't all. I decided that if I was going to knit quite a simple sweater, and I think this colourway could definitely accommodate something quite simple, or maybe something with a nice texture would be good. But I thought if I did go simple, then it would be quite nice to not just have one colour for the whole jumper. So I purchased a couple of mini skeins in a colourway called Calcifer, which is this lovely olivey green colourway, and I think they look glorious together. So my thought is to maybe do neckbands and cuffs in this colour, or maybe even put like a little stripe or something. I've got two of those. So yeah. That one was really naughty, but it was, when I say really naughty, it's really naughty in terms of the cost, but you know, I work pretty hard and I'm not very extravagant apart from when it comes to yarn. I don't go to London very often, and I don't go to fibre festivals very often. Making all these excuses to justify myself, and I really don't need to, but whatever. By about 3:30 I'd kind of had enough of Yarnporium. It was lovely, it was very overwhelming, and although they had a knit lounge, there weren't actually that many chairs in there, so every time I went in there it was absolutely jam-packed and I couldn't sit down. So I just decided to get out of there and go and have a break and grab something to eat, because I hadn't had anything to eat either. And I thought, what a better place to do that than over in Islington, which is a short hop on the underground. And I thought it'd be rude not to visit Loop while I was in London, so that's just what I did. And of course I accidentally made some purchases in Loop. I knew I couldn't go into Loop without buying something, so I had a flick through the making magazine that I purchased, and I figured that there's this really nice hat in here called the Violet Cap, and look, this beautiful model is wearing it along with that lovely cardigan that I liked, and it's made from one skein of Quince & Co. Turn, and I knew that they sold Quince & Co. at Loop, so I thought I'll go in and purchase a skein of that yarn. So I have I picked up one skein of that in the colourway Tyrian, and it's 75% wool, 25% silk. And here it is. It's a gorgeous plummy colour. So that will make the lovely hat from making issue number 1. And I think it might be a while before I cast that on, but I am thinking this might be, I'm already starting to plan my this year's 12 cast-ons of Christmas, so I think that might be in the queue for my Christmas cast-ons. But of course I didn't just purchase that. I purchased enough that they gave me one of their tote bags. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that at Yarnporium I also got a free tote bag from the Yarn Collective. You can look them up on Instagram, and they had a fun little thing going on in the knit lounge where you could basically just post a picture of yourself and tag them in the picture, and in return they offered a free tote bag, which came in very useful for all of the purchases that I'd made. Anyway, back to Loop. I purchased, I think this is the latest issue of Making Magazine, the black and white issue, and there were so many lovely patterns in here, I couldn't resist. I won't go through them all now, but at some point I'm sure I'll cast some on, so I will mention them. But I do want to mention they've got some lovely sewing projects, as well as knitting projects in this magazine, and one in particular just struck my fancy, because going back to what I was saying about issue number 1 and fancying doing a bit of hand stitching, I've got some beautiful hand-dyed fabrics that a friend of mine gifted me quite a few years ago, and in my head I thought, over the last few weeks I've been thinking it'd be nice to actually make a project bag from some of those and maybe do some hand stitching on top of that. And funnily enough, in this issue there is a lovely little zippered pouch which is called the Modern Borrow zipper pouch by Karen Stevens. I'm just going to try and show you that. I don't want to show you the sort of instructions, but yeah, just a really simple kind of pouch with a little bit of special fabric with some hand stitching on the top. So yeah, that was kind of one project that captured my imagination, because it was along the lines of something that I had been thinking about. I also love this adorable reversible sheep pattern from Susan B. Anderson. Great way to use up scraps. And there are some cute needle felted raccoons, which I thought might be a fun project to do, to build on the workshop that I took with Emma at Folky Felt at the Knit Tea Retreat a couple of weekends ago. There are also some beautiful knitting patterns in this issue too. So yeah, Making came home with me. What, a second issue of Making came home with me. And then really unexpectedly I found some beautiful yarn, and it made me think of a project that I've wanted to crochet, for ages. This project was in Interweave Crochet magazine, spring 2006. Boggles my mind to think about how long ago 2006 actually is. But this pattern is the Babette blanket, which you've probably seen before, I'm sure. But it's just really simple squares of different sizes joined together, and I've wanted to make this blanket for ages and I've just never got around to it. But I was digging around in Loop and I found this gorgeous yarn from Camo Rose. It was actually a mix, so I've got some yarns from this Camo Rose and other is, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but they were all in the same cubby holes and they were all the same price. It's 100% organic wool. So I picked up, and I'm probably not going to be able to hold these all up together, but I'm going to give it a go. I just picked up a selection of lovely colours in this gorgeous yarn, and they were very affordable. They were for 100% wool, and let me see, 150 metres on each ball, £4 a skein, so I thought that was great. So my plan is to make these into a Babette blanket. I purchased all of the colours that I held up, and then I also purchased 2 skeins of each of these 2 colours because these are my favourites. So yeah, I want them to be a little bit more dominant in the blanket, but all the colours in the cubbies that these were in just all went beautifully together. So as I say, I just picked out a range and I think that will make a gorgeous blanket. So yeah, damage was done. Don't regret it. I do have to now seriously go on a yarn diet. I'm looking around this room that I'm in and there's yarn everywhere. I've probably got more yarn than I can ever use in my lifetime. Time to stop buying and start using. Oh, I can't knit fast enough, can't knit fast enough. So some of these projects are going to go on the needles fairly quickly. Others will probably wait until the new year. But I'm excited about all of the purchases, and as I say, I don't regret anything that I purchased, which, you know, but I do need to stop. I do need to stop buying. She says as she looks at a big bag of yarn that she purchased when she went to New Zealand, and a big bag of yarn that she purchased when she went to Yorkshire, and the big bag of yarn that she purchased when she went to Wonderwall. And that's just this year. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. This is probably going to be a pretty long vlog. So if you have lasted the distance, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please give me a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe if you haven't. And I shall be back at some point soon for one of my usual works in progress videos. But until that time, I hope you get to do some of the things that you really enjoy, and great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.